Vena praveshtum cha parantapa.
My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotion service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding.
Matkarma krin matparamaha madbhakta sangha varjitaha nirvairaha sarvabhuteshu yasamameti pandava.
My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me.
Om Tat Sad Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishwarupa Darshana Yogo Nama Ekadashodhyayaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Swati Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you so much for all your good, lovely service that you're doing. Thank you, Vaishnavi Mataji. Thank you, Riya Mataji. Hare Krishna. I know today was a long chapter, right? 55 verses, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everyone. So today we'll be looking at the 11th chapter, and before that we'll do the Mangalacharana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Shalakya Takshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vande Aham Shri Guruhu Shri Yuttapada Kamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsta. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. Vamcha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome everyone for the chapter titled The Vishwarupa Darshanam, or the universal form of the Lord. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, my this deck is being seen. Chapter 11, Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. You can see that slide, right?
Slide is
No, Mataji, we are not able to see the slide.
Okay. I'll come into it. Give me a minute. My apologies. Okay. So now, as you know, that this section from 7 to chapter 12 is all about bhakti. And in this section, the Lord gives us a lot of insights about himself, so that it gives us that ability to engage in that self-realization that comes from the self-awareness. I often talk about self-awareness and self-realization. Does anyone want to really make an attempt in differentiating between self-awareness and self-realization? Hare Krishna. What is the distinction, or how does self-awareness lead to self-realization? All of you have completed 8-10 chapters. So it's the right time for you to reflect and also attempt in understanding these concepts of awareness and self-realization. So how does self-awareness lead to self-realization? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Self-awareness, like we are aware of things, we know them, but we are not actually transforming those things, and we are not really practicing those things in our daily life. We have that knowledge, but we are not implementing that. And self-realization, I mean, is when we start practicing those things in our daily life, or we want to imbibe that qualities in us. We want to be on that track.
Absolutely. Very well said. Thank you, Prabhuji. Really blessed to have all your association, because you're really, taking in the concepts very well. And I'm sure you will be able to progress very well on this path of spirituality, and you will really gain immensely from this knowledge. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That was wonderful. So if you really look at, let's do a quick recap, because that recap will help us to kind of, help us to build the focus that is needed in this chapter. In chapter 7, the Lord kind of focused on, he spoke all about his energies, right? He's talked about his two energy, the material energy, which is the inferior energy. And then he said, all the living entities are his marginal energy. And among the living entities, the human form is something that he has a lot of expectations for. Okay. Then he also talked about the various forms of worship that happen, and also the various kind of impious people, the Dushkiritinas. And then he also spoke about the pious people, who are the Sukhiritinas. And then he also said in chapter 7, how we can really, help ourselves to move away from the material Maya and kind of get on to the spiritual realm of devotion. And in chapter 8, it was all about how practice leads us to kind of remember Krishna, not only while we are present, but also how it will help us to kind of constantly, that constant focus on Krishna also helps us to kind of remember him at the time of our last breath. Okay. And then in chapter 9, he spoke about how to attain that bhakti. Bhakti doesn't come automatically. For bhakti, you need to have developed the taste. And when you develop the taste, you kind of develop determination. Automatically, can everybody go on mute, please? Hare Krishna. Can people go on mute? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Riya Mataji. Sorry. Somebody is bringing in a lot of noise. One minute. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So now in chapter 9, we saw, all about how one needs to develop the taste for bhakti. Only when you develop a taste for bhakti, or you develop a taste for anything that you set in life, only then will you get, for example, somebody wants to pursue a career in the legal space. You need to really, you need to have a taste for it, because if you don't have a taste for it, you will not be able to set your eyes, you'll not be able to set your goals and achieve it. So similarly, bhakti is no different. Bhakti also, you need to kind of develop a taste for bhakti. And how does the taste develop? The taste develops or comes about when you are in association with similar kind of people. Okay, because the constant association is what will help you to kind of enrich that taste. Once the taste develops, nothing can stop you from setting your goals and achieving your goals. And Nishta leads to Shraddha, because you will kind of, engage all your energy to kind of pursue that goal that you set for yourself. Okay. And then he also says that pure bhakti is the most confidential knowledge, or the most confidential information that spirituality offers you, is that pure bhakti is what helps us to get into that realm of self-awareness, and also slowly it develops you to kind of become self-realized. Because once you are aware of who you are and what you are, automatically you will find everything else useless. You will find everything meaningless. Your desire for material things will diminish, and your desire to kind of gain, that bhava, and as well as the taste and the ruchi for Krishna will increase. Okay. And then the Lord also talks about his relationship with the world. Very briefly he talks about it, but in chapter 10 he elaborates about it. He says, aham sarvasya prabhavo iti. I think he says aham sarvasya prabhavo. That is, he says, I am the source of everything. Everything comes from me. And then he says, those who understands it, machitta madgata prana. He says, with their mind and intellect fixed on him, they kind of engage in activities that will help them to kind of increase their desire or increase their taste, and also engage in activities that will help them to kind of achieve that Krishna bhakti. Okay. So that's what we saw in chapter 10. Now, as a true student of Vedanta, as a true student of the highly engaging scriptures, Arjuna now, he has heard so much about the Lord being all pervasive. He's kind of heard and also felt, how the Lord is, Lord's energy is, is everywhere. And now he also heard that, all the demigods, all the devis, all the devatas, every creation is just one small dent or one speck of Lord's energy. So now he says in this chapter, which again is the subject of this chapter, he says, Lord, I want to see who you are. I want to see all that you have said that you are. Can you please show it to me? I want to see that supreme self of yours, that all-pervading self of yours, that self of yours which contains all the moving and the non-moving objects. Now, it's not that Arjuna has a doubt on Krishna. Prabhupada says that Arjuna's question is predominantly because he wants to once and for all set the record straight that there can only be one Krishna. Nobody can be an imposter. Nobody can become a duplicate of Krishna, because Krishna is only one. Nobody can be equal to him, and nobody is above him. And it is also necessary for the world at large to know that who Krishna is, and they shouldn't get fooled by anybody else. And as you know, in the Kali Yuga, there are so many people who are propped up as as Bhagavans, right? Every day we see a new Bhagavan propping up, and he or she claims to be an avataram of the Lord. An avataram of the Lord will not be fooling people. An avataram of the Lord will not be engaging in activities where they kind of only dwell, or they only shine. An avataram of the Lord is always very compassionate, is very kind, is also kind of looks at ways in which all the pious people can be protected, because that you saw that as part of the Lord's declaration, where he said, I come as and when there is a increase in the irreligion. Yada yada hi dharmasya. Whenever there is an increase in in irreligion, he says, I take a rupam and I'll come. And why does he come? He comes not only to kind of annihilate the evil spirits, but he also comes to liberate all the noble souls. So that's the purpose of Lord's appearance. And another important aspect is Arjuna, Lord said in chapter 4 that this knowledge has got truncated because of the ill desires, or the increase in the evil sources or evil spirits or evil energies in the towards the end of the Dwapara Yuga. So he says, I have had to revive it now. So, and he says that he is the first disciple. So Arjuna, being the first disciple, obviously has to know everything, because Arjuna is the first disciple who was hearing all this from the Lord. And we are all now, because of the mercy of the Lord, through Arjuna, we are now reading it as part of Bhagavad Gita. And also, there are several other Upanishads which we can all, depending on our interest, we can read other things as well. But once someone knows the Bhagavad Gita and is religious, enjoys the taste of Bhagavad Gita, you can progress to the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is again, absolute treatise. It's not only a treatise to hear, but also it's a treatise to you will enjoy reading it as well. So normally the Srimad Bhagavatam is read as a group because there's so much to discuss. And Prabhupada has written around 15 books covering the 12 cantos. It's supposed to have, I think, 18,000 verses, right? Prabhupada has covered it elaborately. So depending on your interest, depending on your, how you want to progress, I would urge you to completely master, or at least gain a good control on the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, and then progress to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And of course, once you do these two, the spiritual library is all open for you. You can definitely, you will find yourself, engaging in it very fruitfully. Okay. So let's start this chapter. This chapter is going to be a lot of reading. We'll just do reading because a lot of it is, is something that you will enjoy as we read the verses that we have covered here for you. But this chapter overall can be broken up into 6 sections. The first section is Arjuna makes this request. He asks the Lord to show that universal form of his, which is the Virata Rupa or the Vishwarupa. And then from 11.5 to 8, the Lord describes him. He says, yes, you can see it, but he says you can't see it with your bare eyes. So he said you need the divine vision. And Sanjaya describes to Dhritarashtra Arjuna's, how the Lord is going to support Arjuna's desire and give him that chakshuhu, that divine vision, so that he can behold that universal form. And you will know why the Lord said that you need those kind of a special vision to be able to behold that universal form. And then we are going to read about Arjuna's experience as he witnesses the various things that he gets to see in that universal form of the Lord. And then Arjuna asks the Lord, who are you? Because he gets completely, the compassion that you saw of Arjuna in chapter 1 is very different from the kind of a reaction that Arjuna goes through. It's very similar, but the positioning is a little different. There, he was completely weak. But here, it is an enlightened Arjuna. He asks the Lord, Lord, who are you? What is your mission? So the Lord replies. So we will see the Lord's response in those 3 verses. And then finally, Arjuna completely surrenders to the Lord and starts offering his prayers to the Lord. So that also we will read in around 10 verses. Okay. So Arjuna says, Arjuna uvacha mat anugrahaya paramam guhyam adhyatma samnittam yat tva yoktam vachastena moho ayam vighato mama. Arjuna said, I have heard your instruction on the confidential spiritual matters. There are a couple of things the Lord said. One is that spiritual matters means that we are all souls and we are an eternal element of the Lord. We are all Sanatana. We belong to that Sanatana, that eternity, which stems from the Lord. That is one revelation for all of us. The second revelation is the only way to know Lord is through bhakti or devotional processes, and the devotional path is what will help us to bring in that self-awareness, and self-awareness is what will help us to realize our knowledge and rise above our ego and all our material desires. So Arjuna says, I have heard your instruction on confidential spiritual matters, which you have so kindly delivered. And my illusion is now dispelled. This is very important. Please note 10.01. No, sorry, this is 11.01. Sorry, the numbering is wrong there. It should be 11.01. Let me correct it. So this is 11.0. Okay. Okay. So Arjuna says, my illusion is dispelled. Remember in chapter 2, 2.7, he says, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. So there now he says, I am completely, deluded. In 2.7, I'm deluded. I've become weak. I don't know what to do. Please guide me. Now in 11.1, he says, my illusion is now dispelled. Okay. Now, unless we have the mercy of the Lord, it's extremely difficult for us to understand the concepts of life and also the variegation that we see in all the living entities and as well as in the material world. And now here from 11.1 to 11.11, he's going to talk about the glories of the Lord, or he kind of praises the Lord, and he kind of builds up as to why he wants to see the Vishwarupa. Can someone read this, please? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Vaishnavi Mataji, please read.
O Lotus Side One, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity as realized through your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So Lotus Side One. So yesterday when Mataji was asking, right, what are the various names of the Lord? It is another one. He's called a Kamala Nayana. So he says, oh, Lotus Side One, I've heard so much from you about your appearance and disappearance, and your glories are inexhaustible. You are Purushottama. That's another name of the Lord. You are the greatest of all personalities. You are the supreme form. You are Yogeshwara. You are Yogeshwara. You are Purushottama. And though I see you standing before me, I want to see how you have manifested yourself in every energy, as your energy in everything, in the moving and the non-moving things that are in the material world. And he also says, because he understands that if that kind of a form is not going to be easy, and so he kind of, also is very humble. He says, if you think I can behold the cosmic form of yours, O Lord, O Master, he says, he calls him the master of all the mystic power, Yogeshwara, please show me that universal self. So the humility is very, very essential, because only when there is humility, this knowledge will actually, we'll be able to capture this knowledge, and we'll be able to also, engage in practicing it. If there's no humility, then it is unlikely that we'll be able to make any spiritual progress. And in fact, there are very many people who take to the spiritual path, but because of lack of humility, they fail in that spiritual path. So humility is the first ingredient that is needed. And you will also know that humility is also kind of helps us to lead a good life. Because someone who is humble will never offend anybody. And even if somebody offends them, they will know how to kind of, help the other person to kind of turn around because of the humility. Humility is so endearing. It is very contagious. It's infectious. Okay. It's not that by being humble, you're being weak. Humility means you're firm. You're firm on what? You're firm on the right convictions. It's not the wrong things. You don't support the wrong things. Please don't mistake humility to be a sign of weakness. Humility is actually a great strength. Humility can really, make things absolutely go in your favor, and as well as help you to kind of achieve a lot of things which very many people, with probably, with extreme Aggressiveness cannot. Aggression doesn't lead us anywhere. Humility is the one which is long lasting. Aggression is short lived, because aggression has its own. Anyone who's aggressive, you'll find after some time they burn out. Whereas humility helps you to kind of keep yourself calm. It also gives you that energy to do things very well, because humility is all about, comes around because of awareness. Okay. So now 11.5, the Blessed Lord said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, another name for Mata Kunti is Pritha. So that's why the Lord is saying, O son of Pritha, behold now my opulences. Hundreds of thousands of varied divine forms, multicolored like the sea. Whatever you wish to see can be seen all at once in this body. This universal form can show you all that you now desire, as well as whatever you may desire in the future. Because Lord is Trikaladarshi. He is the past. He's not only Trikaladarshi, he is Trikala. He is past, present, and the future. Everything is here completely, but you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give to you the divine eyes by which you can behold my mystic opulence. Was that self-explanatory, everyone? Hare Krishna? Was that, did you understand what is written there? Okay, I'll move on to the next one. So he's going to, like, when you want to watch a movie, an animation movie, you need the 3D kind of lenses you have to wear, right? So similarly, to see everything, past, present, and the future, and a whole lot of things happening in and around that, we cannot really behold it with these normal eyes. We can't even see the sun with these eyes unless we wear some goggles or something like that, leave alone watching multitude of colors and multitude of forms all in one place, right? So Sanjaya is now explaining to Dhritarashtra. Now here, Sanjaya is the one is saying that, look, Arjuna has requested to see that universal form of the Lord. Now here was one great opportunity for Dhritarashtra. He should have at least even now understood who Krishna is. So this is what happens when evil, when greed and desire makes its permanent residence, we fail to see everything. The attachment, especially attachment to our family and particularly to our children, is so bad, or it's so kind of, it binds us so badly that we fail to see what is obvious before us. Sanjaya says, Evam uktva tato rajan mahayogeshwara harihi darshya masa parthaya paramam rupam aishwaram. Sanjaya said, O king, speaking thus, the Supreme Lord, Yogeshwara, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. So now Arjuna is seeing it directly. Now Sanjaya is seeing it because of his ability to kind of see it, which is a gift that was given to him, or the power was given to him by Vyasadeva. Now 10.10, 11.11, sorry, 11.10, 11.11, 11.12. Can someone read it? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Madhavi.
Yes, Prabhuji, read.
Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths and unlimited eyes. It was all wondrous. The form was decorated with divine dazzling ornaments and arrayed in many garbs. He was garlanded gloriously, and there were many scents.
Sorry, yeah. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
There were many scents smeared over his body. All was magnificent and expanding, unlimited. This was seen by Arjuna. 11.12. If hundreds of thousands of suns rose up at once in the sky, they might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in these three verses, we see all the kind of, the Aishwarya. Aishwarya means all the lovely things. He's seeing, dazzling dazzling forms of what? He sees ornaments, he sees garlands, he sees flowers. And then he's also kind of, he's experiencing wonderful scents that is emanating from the Lord. And everything that he's seeing there was really expansive. It was unlimited from something that he wasn't able to probably behold which is a starting point, which is the end. Okay, and it all seemed like as if there were hundreds and thousands of suns that were coming out of the Lord's body. Please understand, all the creation is from the Lord, and therefore this hundreds of thousands of suns again is another indication to show that the universe is unlimited. There are unlimited number of universes, and there are many, 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 many numbers of suns that are required in each of those universes. Okay. So imagine hundreds and thousands of suns. So obviously that can't be borne by a normal eye, and that's why the Lord had to give him the special vision. So now 11.13, at that time Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord unlimited expansions of the universes situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. So he was just seeing the entire cosmos, the creation of the Lord, all in one place. Okay. 11.14, then bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna began to pray with folded hands, offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. After seeing what he saw, he completely became so engrossed. And once again, you see his hair standing up. The first time you saw his hair standing up was when he was overwhelmed with compassion. Now he is overwhelmed with complete respect. Not that he did not have respect, but now even more, because he was seeing something that nobody would have seen. He was witness to something that was so special. So he feels overwhelmed with joy. He feels overwhelmed with that, how finite he feels before that infinite that is all before him. Okay. Can someone read these three verses? 1.5, 11.16, and 11.17. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes. Please read, Mataji.
Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled together in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and many sages and divine serpents. O Lord of the universe, I see in your universal body many, many forms, bellies, mouths, eyes, expanded without limit. There is no end, there is no beginning, and there is no middle to all this. Your form, adorned with various crowns, clefts, and discs, it is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, which is fiery and immeasurable like the sun."
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So this is, we are now witnessing, or through Arjuna, we are seeing, through Arjuna's experience, we're seeing what all Arjuna is seeing in that universal form. What does he see? He sees all the living entities and also all the Devis and Devatas, all prostrating to the Lord. All of them, also in a similar condition. See, all the themes when Lord showed the Vishwarupam to Arjuna, all the various souls from the higher planetary systems were witness to this, and as well as various pious souls from the lower planetary systems were also seeing all of this. And Arjuna was seeing it. Sanjaya, because of the mercy of Vyasadeva, he was also witnessing it, and Dhritarashtra is hearing about it. There was nobody else that was able to see what Arjuna was seeing and what all the rest of the people in the different planetary systems were also seeing. Okay, so he's seeing very, very many things, very many bellies, mouths, hands, legs, and everything limitless. And he's also seeing a lot of other things. He's seeing a lot of weapons. He's seeing a lot of crowns. He's seeing a lot of things of destruction. He's also seeing things which are absolutely fabulous. He's seeing fabulous and things which are destructive in that universal form. And he's finally 11.17. He says this whole thing that he is seeing before him is really fiery and it's immeasurable like the sun, and all these things that he's seeing is really kind of, too difficult to kind of see for too long a time. Okay, so now you'll see the transformation that is happening, because Arjuna himself will prostrate before the Lord and says, please, this is enough. I don't want to see any, I don't want to see more of this, because it's very difficult. Anything that you see with one vision and single things that we see itself, our mind goes bonkers. Now, if you have to see past, present, and future, I don't think we'll be able to really, lead our lives. So that's why it is also said that we really don't remember our past. Because if we remember that past of ours, we'll be able to find it difficult to lead our present. Similarly, we have to learn to kind of forgive a lot of things that happens in our lives, which are probably not good in terms of, helping ourselves to progress. Very many times, all of us would have had experiences which are not probably very good or very nice, unhealthy maybe, or also something that had disturbed us and also kind of, destabilized us probably in those moments. It's best for us to kind of make efforts to forget them, and also forgive, certain things, certain people that might have caused that kind of, troubles for us. Because if you don't do that, it will be difficult for us to lead the present life and also live in the moment and focus on the future. Because all of us at the end of the day have to set a goal. That goal is the future. And how can the future goal be achieved? Only when you live in the present. If you carry the load of the past, the present can't be lived. So that's why Arjuna you'll slowly find Arjuna wanting to come out of this scene that he so longingly wanted to see, which the Lord is very graciously showing him. Can someone read 11.18, 19, 20, and 21? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother.
Yes, Prabhuji, please read.
You are the supreme primal objective. You are the best in all the universes. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of religion, the eternal personality of Godhead. 11.19.
Yeah.
You are the origin without beginning, middle, or end. You are the numberless arms. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are among your great unlimited eyes. By your own radiance, you are heating this entire universe. 11.20. Although you are one, you are spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great one, as I behold this terrible form, I see all the planetary systems are perplexed. 11.21. All the demigods are surrendering and entering into you. They are very much afraid, and with folded hands, they are singing the Vedic hymn. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now, he kind of describes, through Arjuna, we see the description. The Lord is ultimately, the Lord is the best of, he is the best, and he is the object for all those who seek liberation. And he's seeing him as someone who has no beginning, no middle, and no end. This shows that Lord is eternal, Lord is timeless, Lord is inexhaustible. Okay. Although you're one, you're spread throughout the sky. He's spread all over, right? Because the Lord is everywhere. He's all pervasive. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Iti matva bhajano. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Mataha sarvam pravartate. Everything comes from the Lord. The Lord is all pervading. That's what the Lord said in 10.8. And now he says, Arjuna says another important thing. He says all the Devis and Devatas are surrendering to him. They're kind of, they're so scared looking at this Rupam, because they're suddenly seeing, why has the Lord taken this kind of form? I told you that they're also witness to what Arjuna is seeing, right? So he's saying everybody is so perplexed. It seems everyone is singing hymns. They're saying, Pahi, Pahi, mercy, mercy. So 11.23 and 11.24. O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed. So this form is not a very nice form, because it's got so many moving parts. So he says all the demigods are disturbed. All the souls across all the planetary systems are disturbed. seeing all these many faces, eyes, arms, bellies, legs, and your horrible teeth. As they are disturbed, so am I. He says, I am also equally disturbed now. Now, he feels as if he's had enough of it. Oh, all-pervading Vishnu, I can no longer maintain my equilibrium. Obviously, when we watch a movie, if you often have noticed, when you watch a very action-thrilled, action-packed movie, and you're walking out of the film hall, it'll take you some time to kind of stabilize yourself. So think about it. Here is Arjuna seeing that kind of action in millions and trillions of, to the size of millions and trillions of what we see in one screen of an action-packed movie, right? So he said, I can no longer maintain my equilibrium. I'm losing my balance. Seeing your radiant colors fill the skies and beholding your eyes and mouths, I'm afraid. He wanted to see it so badly. Now he's saying, I'm afraid. 11.26, 27, and 28. Can someone read this, please? Hare Krishna. 26, 27, and 28. Please read. Yes, please read, Prabhuji.
All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, and all our soldiers are rushing into your mouths, their heads smashed by your fearful teeth. I see that some are being crushed between your teeth as well. 11.28. As the rivers flow into sea, so all these great warriors enter your blazing mouth and perish.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So now he saw the whole thing of Lord. He sees everything that is there. He's also seeing future, because Lord is ultimately his Kala, his time, right? He's past, present, and the future. So he's also seeing the future. The war hasn't begun, but he's already seeing all these soldiers kind of getting killed. They're all entering the mouth, the fiery mouth of the Lord, and they're getting crushed between his teeth. And then here there's also a metaphor. As the rivers flow into the sea, so are all these great warriors enter your blazing mouth. See, everyone dies in this Mahabharata war from both the sides. It's only around 11 people or something who are, including the Pandavas. Of course, Krishna is also there. Except 12 people assembled in that war field or in the battlefield. All the rest of them die. Now, some of the evil, the one where you saw that, in the last line, he says, I see them entering, getting smashed by your fearful teeth. This is how evil ultimately, remember I told you in one of the earlier lessons, that evil ultimately perishes. Evil cannot flourish at all. Now, this shows this is how evil perishes. This is how the Lord crushes them. Right? So they are getting crushed between his teeth. Now there's another one which says, as the rivers flow into the sea. That's a normal kind of a death many of us will, most of us will go through, which is a normal process of, living your life and, doing your duties. And then we kind of, at the end of our time that comes to an end, we kind of, leave this body. That's a kind of a peaceful kind of a, exit. So there are people who are getting crushed, and there are also people who are kind of also dying, but not as bad as what Dhritarashtra's sons and some of the Kauravas are going to go through. So evil will always meet its end in a very bad way. And it also means that each one of us has to do our duties, because of doing our duties and by discharging our duties, if we have to kind of, if we have to lay down our lives, that is not something which is going to be as bad as what the kind of an end that evil meets. Okay. Because if you see the rivers, they kind of so nicely they get into the ocean. There's no kind of a disturbance, or there's no kind of a hesitance. It automatically goes and joins the ocean. So ultimately, being an eternal part of the Lord, if we kind of really follow our duties well, and also, have that God consciousness within us, we will be able to exit our existence in a very peaceful way, just as the rivers join the mighty sea. The Blessed Lord said, now Arjuna asks, after going through all this, he says, who are you? And what is the purpose? Why have you come here? So the Lord is answering to that question. The Blessed Lord said, time I am, destroyer of the worlds. And I have come to engage all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain, because the evil had engulfed itself. It had just grown to such a large extent, there was nobody that's going to be alive. And with me, it also means that the Lord is setting the ground for a new set of creation or a new set of order in the material world. Okay? So Lord is time. Everything is time. Nothing will happen before time. Nothing will stop, as time goes by. And similarly, when the time comes, everything will come to an end as well. It's also an important lesson that we see here, because the Lord creates, and also at a designated time, there will be annihilation. So here the Lord says, very, very again, something he has constantly been telling in most of the chapter. Tasmat tvam uttishta yasho labasva jitva shatrun bhunksa rajyam samriddham mayai vaita nihatah purvam eva nimittamatram bhava savyasachin. Therefore, get up and prepare to fight. Uttishta, get up and fight. So each one of us has to bring in that confidence in each one of us and uplift ourselves to doing our duties. So this message is not only for Arjuna, but it's also to each of us. Each one of us has to rise up to the cause of our existence and discharge our duties well. So therefore, he says, get up and prepare to fight. And conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. Because it's already ordained that, the Pandavas are going to win and they are going to have a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death. You think that, remember in chapter 2 and chapter 1, he was worried. How can I kill them? Right? He said, they are already put to death. You are only an arrangement. You are only an instrument by my arrangement. And he calls him Savyasachin. Savyasachin means who's very ambidextrous. Someone who can really use, both his hands, and he can use all his organs, all very successfully. Because many of us are either right-handed or left-handed, whereas Arjuna is supposed to be highly someone who can use, his all his working senses all together. So he said, you're only an instrument. So what are you worried about? Okay. If time permits, I'll go back to 2.11 and 2.11, 2.12 and 2.13 and 14, so that we'll be able to relate to what the Lord says here in this shloka. Okay. So 11.34, he says, all the great warriors, and he just names, because, Arjuna, he said, look, how can I fight Drona? How can I fight Bhishma? How can I fight all these people who are there before me? I have played with them. So he said, look, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, they already destroyed. Don't worry about them. Karna was also a great warrior. He was absolutely equal to Arjuna, right? So he said, all of them are died. So don't worry. Simply fight, you will vanquish your enemies. Do your duty. Do your discharge. You are a Kshatriya. Please do your duties. You have come for a purpose. Fulfill the purpose. Can someone read this slide, please? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Read this slide. Anybody? Please read, Prabhuji.
Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the supreme personality of Godhead, Arjuna trembled, fearfully offered obeisance with folded hands and began flatteringly to speak as follows. 11.36. O Krishna, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected being offered, you their respectful homage. The demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. 11.37. O great one, who stands above even Brahma, you are the original master. Why should they not offer their homage to you? O limitless one, O refuse of the universe. You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. 11.38. You are the original personality, the Godhead. You are the only century of this manifested cosmic world. You know everything. You are all that is knowable. You are above the material modes or limitless form. The whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So now in these verses, Arjuna is actually glorifying the Lord. He kind of, he reiterates what he already said in the previous chapter. If you remember, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, he called. You are the Param Brahma, and you are the Param Dhama. You are the person, ultimately you are the object of our ultimate realization. Okay. So he's reiterating, he's glorifying the Lord, he's glorifying, through prayers, and he's talking about the Lord and his opulences, and also all the greatness that he sees in the Lord, in that universal form of the Lord. Okay. 11.41 and 42. So now he kind of, he kneels down before the Lord and he says, "Oh Krishna, oh Yadava, oh my friend, without knowing your glories, I have addressed you in all these names." He says he's addressed the Lord as "Oh Krishna." He says, "Yo Yadava." Yadava was a small community compared to what the Pandavas and the Kauravas, belonged. Pandavas and Kauravas were really the royals, right? The Yadava community was a smaller community. The Lord was born in a cowherd community, right? So he said, "I've addressed you as Krishna." Krishna is also refers to the, that blackish, bluish complexion that the Lord has, the Shama Sundara. So he says, "I've addressed you as "Oh Krishna," not even Sri Krishna. "Oh Krishna, oh Yadava, oh my dear friend, without knowing your glories, please forgive me. Whatever I may have done in madness or in love, I have dishonored you many times. While relaxing or while lying on the same bed or eating together, sometimes alone, sometimes in front of many friends. Please excuse me." But the Lord, he doesn't, we need to understand, as long as we are his devotees, the Lord just loves us in whatever form we choose to kind of, have him in our thoughts. But anyway, Arjuna feels bad that, he kind of, was treating him as just another ordinary friend. But the Lord is ever compassionate. Arjuna is his best devotee, and he is his best friend. So obviously, the Lord is not really looking forward to this, but Arjuna feels it that way. Yeah, it often happens with us as well, right? So 11.45, now Arjuna says, "After seeing this universal form, which I've never seen before, I'm gladdened." So I'm very happy that I got this opportunity to see this universal form. But at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as a personality of Godhead. O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. He says, "Enough is enough. Thank you very much. You are very kind. You showed, with your mercy, you kind of allowed me to kind of see that form of yours, which is all pervasive. But I think, please help me to to come back to your normal form, which is something so endearing and which is something very, which is very enticing and very pleasing to the eye." So 11.46, 48, 49. Now, O universal Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head, club, wheel, conch, lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. Now, this is a very important feature of the Lord. This is the Paramatma feature of the Lord, which is eternally present in every living entity. Now, the meaning of the Shank Chakra Gada Haste is what the Lord carries in his four arms. Shank represents wisdom, knowledge. And then lotus represents purity, detachment, right? Because our consciousness, the super consciousness that is present in us, is full of knowledge, is full of detachment. And then the mace or the gada represents, how we can overcome any form of evil, how we can destroy evil with the knowledge or the jnana And then disc is a chakra. Chakra represents time. None of us have unlimited time on hand. Our life is finite. So therefore, we must make the best use of our life. So, and to make the best use of life, the Lord is ever present with us with these kind of, wonderful qualities as a superconscious that is present in us. So that's how the self-awareness will kind of lead us to the self-realization. And self-realization means realizing that the superconsciousness who is ever present in our bodies. 11.48, he says, "Oh, best of the Kuru warriors, no one before." Now the Lord is speaking this, okay? The Lord says, "Oh, best of the Kuru warriors," he's addressing Arjuna, "no one before you has seen this universal form of mine." See, the Lord showed a partial avataram of his to Ma Yashoda, when during the Damodara Leela, when he opened his mouth, when he kind of, had a little bit of the mud, Yashoda came to kind of, Yashoda was very angry. She came to beat him. He said, "Open your mouth," because the mother always does that, right? When we put something into our mouth, the mother asks us to open our mouth to remove it. When the Lord opened his mouth, she just saw so many things revolving in his mouth, but she didn't see the kind of things that Arjuna saw. Similarly, this Lord also kind of, showed his limited form to Duryodhana when Duryodhana insulted the Lord when he came as a peacekeeping ambassador to Dhritarashtra to kind of avert the war. Okay, but no one has ever seen this kind of a form. It's only Arjuna and also the several other people in the higher planetary system, including Sanjaya, got to see it. And the Lord affirms and confirms in the Bhagavad Gita and also elsewhere in the Bhagavatam that he is not going to show this form anytime anymore to anyone. Okay, so he says, "Oh, best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen this. Your mind has been perturbed upon seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free from all disturbance. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you so desire." Okay. He wanted to see the four-armed form. So the Lord shows the four-armed form because the four-armed form as a Paramatma is what is present in every living entity. Now, Sanjaya tells Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, while speaking thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form, and at last he showed him his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. See, the Lord is always ever compassionate, and he gives us the strength to overcome all our fears. And that's exactly what the Lord is doing here to Arjuna. Arjuna had the material fear. Okay. And the Lord, through spirituality, helped Arjuna to come out of his material fear and also his material desire. Because material desires bring in material fear. So the Lord helps Arjuna to kind of come out of his, that attachment that he had to material things, and also the fear, therefore, that came because of his attachment. Okay. Can someone read this? 11.51, 52, and 54. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother.
Yes, Prabhuji.
11.51. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, "Seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, my mind is now pacified. I am restored to my original nature." 11.52. The blessed Lord said, "My dear Arjuna, the form which you were now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear." 11.54. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter in this mysteries of my understanding. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So the Lord is now saying the Shyamasundara form or the Bhagavan form is the form that is so endearing, it's so nice, it's so beautiful that even all the people, all the pious people, all the great sages and all the Devis and Devatas, are ever waiting to see that beautiful form of the Lord. And it is said, all the people, whenever the Lord comes, he comes with his own people, because all these people, they want to see the pastimes of the Lord. They want to kind of engage in the pastimes of the Lord. Okay. So people, everybody, I believe, equally waits when the Lord descends, whenever the Lord appears. A whole lot of people come with him. 11.54 Bhaktya tva ananya shakya aham evam vido arjuna jnatum drashtum cha tatvetena pravestum cha parantap. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood. It has to be undivided. It has to be completely, very focused, and it cannot be wavering, and it cannot be something by way of convenience. Aaj kiya, kal nahi kiya. Aisa nahi hota. It has to be undivided, because only when there's undivided, that there is stability. And also there is actual, that eagerness to know the Lord. Okay, but otherwise it becomes a matter of convenience. So the Lord can only be attained, or the Lord's presence can only be felt, or that self-realization becomes a possibility only by way of undivided devotional service. Can the Lord be understood as I am standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. You can please experience. I've told you all about the japa. I hope all of you are doing the japa, and you should be able to see the difference. Because the japa is so powerful, because the japa is Lord himself, is Lord God himself. So you can only experience the Lord only by kind of, engaging in your loving service towards him. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Now, this is the last verse of this chapter. Mat karma kran mat paramo mat bhakta sangavarjitah nirvairah sarvabhuteshu yah samam yeti pandav. My dear Arjuna, one who is engaged in my pure devotional service. There are 5 attributes in this verse. One is pure devotional service, engagement in pure devotional service, free from contaminations of previous activities and from mental speculation, who is friendly to every living entity, certainly comes to me. One is pure devotional service is very essential. And we should kind of free ourselves from all kinds of evil thoughts or thoughts that are derailing. That's why I said, try and see how quickly you can overcome all your past, actions or past experiences which are not pleasant. And also, you should be free. You should not have that, that confusion. Is God really there? If you kind of get into that kind of a mental speculation, you will remain in that mental speculation, because our life is short. By the time we kind of come out of that mental speculation and understand that the Lord is all pervasive and you are that energy of the Lord, you would have lost our time, right? So therefore, devotional service, free from past contaminations, and also free from mental speculation, and friendly to every living entity. It is very important. We have to be, because every living entity is an eternal amsham or eternal part of that supreme eternity. So therefore, we cannot at any cost be, arrogant or aggressive or have that superiority complex. If we are all equal, it is because of our past karma, that is, I'm talking about past life karma, because of the karma phala, we have taken, or we are in certain social order because of that. But however, it does not mean somebody low in the lower social order is actually not part and parcel of the law. So that being so, it kind of, completely defeats, or it completely, thrashes the so-called class divisions that we have all created upon ourselves. There's no class division. We are all the same. We are all equal. Every bird, every animal, every living entity, we are all the same. It's just that we are what we are because of the baggage that we are carrying. Okay? So with this, we end this chapter. So this chapter summary is Arjuna questions. Arjuna requests his friend Shri Krishna to show the universal form. The Lord says that no, you cannot see it with these normal eyes. I have to give you a special vision. And Lord bestows that special vision upon Arjuna. And Arjuna experiences the good, the ugly, the bad, and everything that he sees in that universal form. And ultimately, he gets so overwhelmed. He says, please, can you come back to your four-armed form? I want to see you in your four-armed form as a Paramatma who's present in every living entity. And I also want to see you as a form of Krishna, who I know as a friend. And then the Lord finally says, pure bhakti or devotional service is the only way in which we can really enjoy Krishna's presence in this world and as well as in each of us. Okay, so that is the chapter summary. Hare Krishna. Any questions, please? This chapter is very self-explanatory and it's a beautiful chapter. It kind of really shows us how minute we are, how insignificant we are, and we are all perishable. We are not eternal. And learning from Arjuna's experience, we need to kind of imbibe humility, because humility is the only thing that will help us to kind of become more knowledgeable about ourselves and everything around us. And that is the one which will help us to be steadfast on the path of devotion. Hare Krishna. Any thoughts? Any comments? Anybody?
It was very nice while we go through this adhyay. Although there were many new things, like you said. Every day new thoughts come, and whenever we shift to a new day, some new knowledge we are gaining. So now it's the time that we are just gathering the knowledge, but in the daytime it's very hard to digest all the things. But I think with due time we will able to imbibe all the things that we have said, and it was really great.
Yes, Prabhuji. It takes time, but it will happen. Yeah. At least I hope that these this overview is helping you to kind of develop that curiosity to know more. If that happens, then I think you're sorted.
Actually, Mataji, there are many things which were known to me, and which actually I have gone through all those things previously. But while we are going through the adhyayas one after other, a new dimension and a new approach has certainly come. I'm seeing things, but there is a new, you can say, a new light and a new way to understand that. I think that is very helpful.
Sure. See, as I said, Bhagavad Gita is about our own lives, right? So we need to kind of take away a lot of lessons. Probably I'm sharing some with you as much as I have understood, but as I said, and as you rightly said, each time you go through it, there is a new kind of an understanding that comes about. Okay, and that's what helps you to grow and mature on the ladder of spirituality. Right? Anyone else wants to make any comment? There's Bharat Vijayan Prabhu, Kusmalata, Ishant Prabhu. Any comment? Okay. So feel free. We just have another 7 more chapters to grow. So I would request each one of you to kind of contribute to what your understanding has been, because that will help us to kind of, help us to understand how well we have been able to kind of, engage and associate ourselves with this course. And also kind of, it'll be nice because to have your testimonies, because it will also reveal, how much this has, you have been able to carry, with you. And that is what will help us also to kind of feel, how much we have contributed to your own growth. Yeah. So thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow for chapter 12. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. See you tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Mother.